folks, we well? Yeah! Amazing, we're having a good time. It's lovely to be here in Billericay. Thank you very much for having me. It's lovely to be anywhere. I should caveat that. I am a single parent. Could we give it up for single parents? Yeah! I do feel like sometimes I overrate that a little bit to break down my situation. My kids live with their mum and I'm on Tinder. That's all that means. You are right on this. I've got a bit of an accent. I'm from a small town in South Wales called Barry Island. You might have heard of it. Yeah. Real place, real people. It's true, yeah. But I live not too far away from here now. I love it. I live in Southend. It's great. It's home from home. There are moments I realise as a 45-year-old man, life isn't quite panning out as planned. You got to bear in mind I'm going from Barry Island to Adventure Island. This isn't where I thought I was going to be. But I've got 2 kids, I've got 2 little cock blockers. They are 9 and 10 years of age and they're amazing. And their mum is local, she's from Southend, so that means my kids are half Southend and half Welsh, which means they're thick but they can sing. So you've got to take the wins when you get them. I actually think I'm a really good dad. I know this because I've got a 95% success rate of taking on the right kids from school. Now this bothers me, right? Because if you're 95% good in any other walk of life, you are smashing it. Once I took on the wrong kids. I haven't even got Asian twins. I don't know what happened. Actually, that was But yeah, my daughter, she's growing up fast. The kids are getting closer to secondary school, and we have these lovely moments in the car. Sometimes her favourite song comes on and she sings along to it. There was a time when she was really little. It was like Twinkle Twinkle, Bar Bar Black Sheep. Now her favourite song is by an artist called Sabrina Carpenter. And the lyrics of this song go as follows: I've heard you're back together, and if that's true, I guess you're gonna taste me when he's kissing you. I don't like it. I don't like it. She's 9, not 19. When I was 19, it cost me $3.99 a minute to get a woman on the phone to talk to me like that. Do you know what I don't like it. I've had other dad fails though. I'm sure there's some dads in the room can attest to this. I've had some dad fails, not always quite as serious as child abduction, but a few weeks ago, before the half-term break, right, I've dropped my boy off to school. It's my turn to take the kids to school. I've dropped him off. He's gone in, and as I've driven away, I've realised I haven't given him a packed lunch. He's gone in without a pack. Not the end of the world, but it's the kind of thing you don't want the mum finding out about, right? So I'm in a bit of a panic. I ring the school. I explain to Evelyn. I say, Evelyn, I fucked up. And she's good as gold, Evelyn. I explained the situation. She said, that's right, it's no problem. She went, what form's he in? Now. I know the square fuck all about my kids. So I said, Evelyn, I don't know what form he's in. She went, that's all right, love, it's no problem. What's his teacher's name? I was like, you're going to have to ask me one on sport, I think. I said, I don't know his teacher's name. Lovely lady, doing a great job. His handwriting is coming on a treat. She said, that's all right, it's no problem. What's his date of birth? Throw me under a bus, Evelyn. And I overreacted the effects of stress. I said, listen, I know my name, I know his name. I think this is enough information, don't you? She was good as gold. She went, right, she's calmed me down. We've gone through some breathing techniques. Wrong school. It's funny because it's true, isn't it? It's funny because it's true. All right, Evelyn, calm down. Honest, breathe, Evelyn, breathe. But I think about my dad a lot, being a parent and being a dad. I think about my dad, and unfortunately my dad died a few years ago. It was at the back end of that COVID summer. We all remember that COVID summer. We all had difficult times and people we cared for. And think, what's happening? What's happening? You're sticking your tongue out. What's going on? It's like licking each other down here. So I think about my dad a lot because what happened, the long story is just before COVID, just before the Christmas, I'd separated from the kids' mum. I'd moved into a little flat, and then we got through Christmas, right, very emotional time, and then it was like, right, new year, new me, and then COVID went, fuck you, dickhead. So we were into lockdown, and my dad lived in South Wales. He lived in Barry, right, and he had, through some living arrangements had to change, right. He had the early onset of dementia, right. And if there's anyone in the room affected by dementia, I will tread carefully, right. But in that COVID summer, Dad had to come and live with me, and I left home at 18 when I joined the army, right. So in that COVID summer, even though it was difficult, we had COVID, lockdown and the dementia, me and my dad had spent more time together in that 6 months before he died than I'd done consecutively over about 20 years, right? But me and my dad had some of the funniest times ever, right? We got football fans in? Of course we have, yeah. So if you remember, they put the Euros back a year, right? And they were showing reruns of old football matches, yeah? So I would often come back home and find my dad 4 cans of Stella Deep watching Wales qualify for the World Cup again. They go, Rich, get a beer, son, we're going to the World Cup. I go, all right. I reckon I watched Wales qualify for the first time 17 times with my dad. But the best one of all, right, we're watching this game, it's from like 4 years before that, 2016, and the game was Wales-Belgium, quarterfinals of the Euros, right? And Wales, like, knock out Belgium, little old Wales, right? And there's a striker for Wales called Hal Robson-Kanu, right? He's not Messi or Ronaldo, he's a good old solid pro. And he scores one of the best goals in European history. He knocks out Belgium, Wales go through. Come on, Wales. And we're getting to that moment where Hal Robson-Kanu's about to score the goal. And my dad turns to me and he goes, I've never rated him. I said, I bet you a tenner he scores, Dad. I made 100 quid that summer. I do think about the dementia thing, right? And I do think, like, trying to stay sharp, and I do, you know, like the cognitive tests and things like that. And I do that to do good. The games, things like that. But I like watching documentaries. Anyone like watching documentaries on Netflix? Yeah, we've just been around the moon. I love all that space time, the moon stuff. When Brian Cox is going, the stars are brilliant, like that. I watch it, and there's that thing, isn't it? Like, if we went to the Andromeda Galaxy, it's so far away that if you went there, light takes so long to travel. If you look back at Earth, you'd see dinosaurs. Mental, right? But sometimes I bite off more than I can chew. And I was watching a documentary where they were trying to prove what number infinity was, right? So there's all these mad scientists, and the opening bit, it's like, well, infinity could be a number that is beyond our comprehension in the human brain, or it could be the number 1. Hooks in, right? I'm there, right? Let's have it. So they said, right, imagine you've got a car, right? And the wheels on the car are square. How many sides has a square got? About 15 minutes I got here, right? So that would be a very bumpy ride. Imagine then you had another car and it had a hexagon. How many sides has a hexagon got? Fucking 6. It's got the X in it, right? It goes pentagon, right? 10 sides, 100 sides. Eventually you've got 1,000,000 sides. Eventually you've got the perfect wheel that's got an infinite amount of sides that it forms the perfect circle. How many sides has a circle got? 1. Boom. Ed's gone. Now, right, Ed's gone, I can't believe it. 10 seconds later, I'm watching Is It Cake? I'm like, is it? It's harder than it looks, isn't it? So I know my limitations. Well, how long we go? We're doing all right for time. I think it's cool. Right, I can either carry on telling you a bit more about myself, or I can tell you a shit joke about chlamydia. What do you want? Everyone says chlamydia. The reason I ask that is because put them both together. Yeah. The reason I ask that is because I'm recently sort of separated from the kid's mum, and I wanted to get back out there. I wanted to start dating again. Wanted to meet someone special, you can share things with, like gas, electric, hot water. And I was chatting to a mate of mine, Steve. He's one of my best mates, Steve, and I love him to bits. And he came out recently as gay, right? And it was a very momentous occasion. We were very proud of him. It was a very brave moment. He came out, we celebrated him coming out, and everyone was happy. His wife saw it slightly different. She had it. But we were having a chat talking about the perils of dating in your mid-40s, right? And he said, well, why don't you mix it up a bit? I said, what do you mean? He said, why don't you try a bit of dick? I was like, my name's Richard, there's no dick going on over here. I said, well, try it. He said, when I came out, I realised I like my men like I like my coffee. I thought, please don't say it. And then he looked me up and down, he went, white and weak. I thought, I always knew Stevie was gay. There's those little red flags, when you look back, the little telltale signs, like he used to eat a Mars bar upside down to feel the veins on his tongue. Do you know what I mean? That was there. Yeah. Looking back. Thing is, tomorrow at Ford at the vending machine, these fuckers were like that, like Mars bar. No, it's good. You guys, who was the dating couple on the Tinder thing? Was down here somewhere, the Tinder thing? Behind, yeah. Well, you guys are quite lucky living down here in Billericay. You're not quite, you're not a little bit landlocked, but over in Southend, right, it's a nightmare. We are surrounded 2/3 by water, right? So when I get that little notification, he goes, "Hey Richie, guess what? You just matched with Jenny, 37 from Kent, and she's only 3 miles away." She ain't. Jenny's not, unless I'm getting a taxi boat across a major shipping lane. Me and Jenny. We were talking about the pier earlier on, weren't we? And it's like, there was fuck all at the end of that pier. I just used that pier as a viewing platform for all the failed relationships I could have had. But I do think for people in their mid-40s that are on the dating apps, they need to update them, right? Make them a bit more relevant for people my age. I don't need to know height, weight, hobbies, interests, 2 truths and a lie. I don't need to know it. I need to know 3 important things. 3 important things that are going to help me as a fully grown adult male make an informed decision as to whether or not this could possibly blossom into a loving relationship. I need to know, do I have to cross a bridge? Are you ULEZ compliant? Or do I have to pay the dark charge? If we've got that, we can move forward. I think that's the... But I have started seeing someone recently. I've seen it's going quite well, you know, early stages, but going quite well, and she's a bit younger than you, right? There's an age gap. I'm 45, she's 28. So yes, she has daddy issues, and we are working them out together. That is it's true. But I tell you what, we went on a little day. I'm sure some of you have been down the cliffs. We went on a date night, right? It was a lovely date night. She looked immaculate, right? Hair done, nails done, dress, heels. 10 out of 10 gorgeous. I made an effort. That cloth over my trainers before I left the house. We go to this little restaurant, little Italian by the cliffs, right? And we walk in, clearly date night, we're holding hands, kissy, looking into each other's eyes. It's a beautiful moment. Waiter comes over, takes our drinks order, she orders a wine, and he says, "Can I see your ID?" She's loving this. I'm having a panic attack. This is my Philip Schofield moment, folding out. In a few years, I get up to get introduced live at the Apollo, and I walk out, I just did. So I thought we'd have a little play around with it. So at the end of the night, we're walking out, and he holds the door, he's giving our coats back, and as we walk out, I just smack her on the bum. I say, "Come on, let's get you home to your mother." It's really past me, isn't it? But there are some issues when you're dating someone younger than you, when there's a bit of an age gap. There's issues, you know. There's, you know, sexy time, right? Steady giggling. Sexy time, right? Sexy time comes at different times of the day. You've got to bear in mind, right? She's 28. She's approaching her sexual peak. I'm approaching bedtime. So, but it's true. Like, so I'll give you first thing in the morning, not a problem, right? I give any young buck a run for his money. Lunchtime too. Anything after the chase, I'm 50-50. I couldn't do it. I heard a yes down here then. So yes, that is true. But we have moments. You know, do you remember the phrase PDA, public displays of affection? We don't really hear it like that, but when we're out and about, I'm mindful of it, right? Because we'll be out the other week, walking around this little park in Southend. You know, there's like the swans out, beautiful spring morning, a little bit of mist in the air, we got a coffee. There's a few people dotted around, dog walkers, and we're walking through the park. And I'm mindful, because I can see people are looking, people are staring. You know, people are looking at me like, "Bet he's got money." I haven't made with you on Saturday night. I haven't got any. But I'm mindful of it, right? So how we behave in public. We're walking through the park, and then I start to look, and I think, "Fucking hell, she's stunning. And she's sexy." And I was thinking, I'm a very lucky man. And then I realised that as we're walking through the park, that no matter how much I want to, and no matter how much she begs me, I can't push her on the swings. I can't. Can't do it. But I'll leave you with this. I'm at the end of my time, and you all want a beer in a week. I touched on it earlier. When I left home, I said when I was 18, I joined the army, and I was in the King's Troop. So some of you might see on Instagram and on the videos the soldiers, they sit on the horses outside Whitehall, you see that? And there's some lovely touching moments, right, where children come up and they touch the horse. And sometimes these children have got learning difficulties, and the horses will generally pick up on the sensitivity of these children. There's a beautiful touching moment between child and animal, right? And these get millions of views around the world, and they're beautiful. There's the other videos where dickheads get involved, right? And dickheads try and fuck them up. And then what happens is the soldier will be sat on a horse, and you go, "Oh, look, there's a dickhead," and you push a little button like that. And then a big airy-ass copper comes out with a gun, and he goes, "Fuck off." And they go away. And the reason they do that is because everyone's filming now, and everyone's got camera phones, and they have to deal with it diplomatically. But when I was doing it back in 2002, no one had camera phones. And I'll be honest, Billy Ricky, a lot more people got knocked the fuck out when I was sat I was awarded 2 weeks in Colchester prison for that, but here we go. Got me off guard duty. But this story is true. Everything I've told you about is true. And the story I'm about to tell you, it doesn't breach any confidentiality agreements because it ended up on the front page of the Sun, right? So, does everyone cast their minds back? They remember foot and mouth around about 2003, I think it was. It was a very difficult time for farmers and agriculture things. But it's for us as well, right? Even though our barracks was in central London, we used to ride the horses out down Camden, Primrose Hill, up and down Oxford Street, but they weren't allowed to leave camp. So we would exercise them in camp, and then every day for a summer, we were down the pub by 11 o'clock, right? And it was a recipe for disaster. Come in. It was a recipe for disaster, right? So after a while, some of the guys and the girls from the barracks, they got to know the locals, and they developed a bit of a habit for the Colombian marching powder, right? You know, the cocaine, right? They were on it. It became a bit of an epidemic and a problem. And I've come back one weekend, on a Sunday evening, I'm in my room sorting my kit out, ready for on the Monday morning. There's a knock at the door, like, Bombardier, because I had like 2 straps, and they were like, Bombardier, coming down the pub. I said, no. I said, you go down and behave yourselves, have a good time, but don't forget, tomorrow, Monday morning, 9 o'clock parade, sharp as a carrot, don't be late, don't let me down. They're like, no, we won't. So we go down. Following morning, they're all lined up on the parade square, 9 o'clock. I'm inspecting them. They are sweating. Just pouring buckets. Because in the corner of the parade square is a blue transit van, and that represents the drug testing team, right? They turned up unannounced. And what happens is the protocol, camp goes into lockdown, no one is allowed to leave camp until everyone is pissed in a test tube, right? That's what happens. And I'm a bombardier, right? So I have to monitor it. So I have to walk these people to a urinal, watch them piss in it, I have to take it back, I have to seal it, sign it, and it goes off to the lab, right? And I take my roles and responsibility looking after those guys and girls very seriously. And I pissed in 9 test tubes. And they all came back with chlamydia. Yeah! Folks, you're a good, great night. I've been Richard Roberts. Thank you very much.